golf pickers, and welcome to this week's golf betting show. As ever, it's Steve Bamber here from Golf Betting System. Thanks for watching. Now, I'll start the show by saying if you want to subscribe to the show so you don't ever miss an episode, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, just press the subscription button below the screen. Two high-quality events this week, it has to be said. On the European Tour, we have the Italian Open, which is being played very close to the Grand Prix track in Monza, of course, at Royal Park. And as you would expect, it's a new course actually for the Italian Open, but it's tree-lined, it's tight, and it's going to be a plotter's dream this week in northern Italy. Across on the PGA Tour, I've covered the BMW Championship, the old Western Open that goes way, way back into the history of the PGA Tour, an established golf tournament that tours around the Midwest. It went to Denver last year, it's been to St. Louis, this year back in just in the northern environs of Chicago. The top 70 in the FedExCup moving forward to this week, with of course only the top 30 then making it to the Tour Championship at East Lake in Atlanta next week. Plenty to play for and lots of informed golfers, of course, playing this week in Chicago. So I'll take you through that in a short while. I'll start off with Paul Williams' coverage, as ever, of the European Tour. Very unlucky last week with his selection of Paul Lawrie, who came very, very close to getting a fantastic victory for Paul, but just shot his bolt towards the end disappointingly. I'll take you through the top 10 of Paul's published predictor model, as ever. Golf Betting System, golf betting tips in the search engine of your choice. You'll be able to find our predictor model and all of our free stats, all of our coverage, including betting previews, free each and every week. You can pull together your own tailor-made predictor model, loads and loads of stats there that can pull together a fantastic short list of players. 10 is Gregory Havre, the Frenchman, 125 to 1 with Sky Bet. 9, Martin Keimer, 14 to 1 with Sky Bet. Still seems not particularly on song, especially with the putter Keimer. 8, Alvaro Quiros, 160 to 1 with Bet365. 7, the very exciting talent that is Rup Kako, 100 to 1 with Bet Victor. 6 is Ben Evans, the Englishman who's been showing well on leaderboards recently, 175 to 1 with Bet365. Top 5, Alejandro Canizares, 50 to 1 with Paddy Power. 4, Francesco Molinari, 14 to 1 with Betfred. 3, David Howell, 40 to 1 with Bet Victor. 2, Gregory Bordy, 33 to 1 with Bet365. And number 1, the very phlegmatic, very young, very talented Englishman that is Matthew Fitzpatrick, 25 to 1 with Betway. So Fitzpatrick, Bordy, Howell, Frankie Molinari and Alejandro Canizares at the top 5. If you're looking for some value further down the order, 11, Florian Frith, 200 to 1 with Bet Victor. Robert Rock is 100 to 1 shot. He's in 12 in the predictor model. Jaco van Ziel's a very interesting player. The South African, 110 to 1 with 365. Defending champion Henny Otto, 250 to 1 is in there. Dinwiddie's been playing well. Eduardo de la Riva plotted his way to a decent performance last week, 100 to 1. There's players there aplenty to get your teeth stuck into. So what do we know about this week's 72nd Open d'Italia presented by Damiani? Well, it's moved to a new course, as I highlighted at the top of the show. It's a tight Parkland golf course. It's a 7,159 yard par 72. It dates back to 1928, so it's going to be classical. So bent poa greens, tiny greens by all accounts. Claustrophobic golf course, lots of dog legs. The par fives are very attackable. 503, 519, 556 and 564 yards. In modern terms, a relatively short set of 4 par 5s. So they're attackable, but Paul's really in the mode here, really in the format of looking for those accurate sorts that can plot and prosper. The scoring at these Italian Opens always tends to be on the low side. Paul doesn't think that will change, but if you're thrashing it into the into the timber, that might not be an option with quite high rough as well and blocked second approach shot. So Paul's going for the following players. You won't be surprised. He's playing the golf of his life at the moment, or his young career at least. Third in Austria, second at Crans, third in Prague a couple of weeks ago. Matt Fitzpatrick, 2 points each way at 25 to 1 with Betfred. Is Paul's headline tip this week. Fitzpatrick, he's a ball striker who recently has been putting extremely well. 1.7, which was fifth for putting average at the Czech Masters. 1.63 putts per GIR last week on Bent Poa at Kenema. And of course, almost shot a 59, just that last putt on the 18th coming up. Probably a foot short. Matt Fitzpatrick, 2 points each way, 25 to 1. Paul thinks he's going to break his European Tour maiden this week. Then some bigger prices, because if you actually listen or actually look at the winning prices of the Italian Open last 2 years, Henny Otto 80 to 1, Julian Cairn 80 to 1, Gonzo 40 to 1, Robert Rock 66s, and Freddie Anderson Head 66 to 1. That seems to be a really sweet spot there in the mid-range. So Paul's going for another guy that was high up in the predictor model. Alejandro Canizares, a point each way at 50 to 1 with Boyle Sports. We know he's neat. We know he's tidy. He's played some reasonable golf this season, and of late he's been playing well. 20 birdies in Holland last week. Starting to come to the Boyle Canizares, so Paul has gone for him a point each way, 50 to 1 with Boyle Sports. Next up, Paul tipped him last week. The putter was ice cold, but tee to green, accuracy in greens in regulation, his numbers were absolutely spot on. The mechanic, Miguel Angel Jimenez, a point each way at 70 to 1 with Bet365. Of course, it's now into European Tour. What am I talking about? It's now into Ryder Cup qualification for the European team. You never know with Jimenez. He does come good when it's Ryder Cup year. He's shot it's interesting. He shot a 61 at the Shore Charity Classic last month, so he's not been playing bad golf. He was also third in 96 and sixth in 99. A sporadic tournament in terms of his attendance, the Italian Open, but he can play well in Italy. Paul thinks he's well worth a point each way, 70 to 1 with Bet365. Miguel Angel Jimenez. And then two triple digits. Anders Hansen, as we know, he does like tight courses. Wentworth, like Jimenez, classical Parkland, not overly long. And Hansen has a fantastic record around there. Half a point each way, 125 to 1 with Bet365. I mentioned him a short while ago, Jaco van Zyl, very, very talented, a perennial winner on the Sunshine Tour down in South Africa. But when it comes to the European Tour, when it comes to him being right in the midst of the Sunday heat, he doesn't get the job done, but he gets himself into contention, or has done many, many times. Now, 110 to 1 for a top five, you can almost say to yourself, well, he's likely not to win. He's likely to let you down at the end. But 110 to 1 on a 110 to 1 is a great each way price. And it's interesting with Van Zyl, always one of those golfers that 2 or 3 tournaments of white hot form and then falls away. Interestingly enough, he played in the Wild Coast Sun Challenge on the Sunshine Tour a couple of weeks ago, a fortnight ago, and finished third. So playing nice golf. Coming to Italy, Otto's obviously performed well in the last year, so it sets up well for South Africans. So Paul's going half a point each way, 110 to 1 with Bet365 on Jaco van Zyl. So Van Zyl, Anders Hansen, the mechanic, Alejandro Canizares, and Mats Fitzpatrick. Paul's full preview available at Golf Betting System. Okay. Across to the PGA Tour, I'll mention at the very top the two players that will potentially break my heart this week. Of course, Ricky Fowler. You look at his course form for this test, which is being played at Conway Farms. Look at Zach Johnson's previous course form around the PGA Tour. Jim Furyk was third, Nick Watney was second, 2013 around here. Fowler ticks a lot of boxes. We know that I think I've read that there's 6 players that have won twice in the FedEx Cup playoffs across the 4 events. Fowler for me is a heartbreaker. 16 to 1 available at Coral right now. I'll pint him out, and of course Jim Furyk, very, very obvious this week, but I haven't gone for Furyk. I'll take through the top 10 of the predictor model. 10 is Bubba Watson at 22s with Paddy Power. 9, Dustin Johnson 22s with Bet Victor. 8, Webb Simpson 100 to 1 with Coral. 7, Jordan Spieth, 2 missed cuts on the trot, but you never know with Jordan. 12 to 1 with Paddy Power. Needs to start coming to the party now. Of course, you know, you think it through. First 2 events, he was so far ahead in the FedEx Cup points, it meant nothing to him. Tried some new irons in the Barclays, reverted back to his old irons at TPC Boston, made no difference. He's looked a little jaded after an amazing season. Of course, Jason Day now fighting it out each week for the world #1 spot. There's all this stuff going on, but Spieth, if he wants seriously to challenge for this FedEx Cup, needs to find some form this week to take into Eastlake next. So Spieth could be interesting at 12 to 1. Justin Rose 25 to 1 with Betway, looking very, very jaded at the end of the season. Top 5, Henrik Stenson, 2 seconds on the bounce. Statistically, the course will fit. 12 to 1 with Betway. Will he really go for the victory when he's got such a good chance at Eastlake next week? Don't know. 4, Jim Furyk, 20 to 1 with Betfred. Obvious chances for Furyk, who shot 59 here a couple of seasons ago. 3 is Matt Kuchar, 33 to 1 with Paddy Power. 2 is Zach Johnson, 25 to 1 with Sky Bet. And #1, Jason Day, 8 to 1 with Ladbrokes. So Day, Zach Johnson, Matt Kuchar, Jim Furyk, Henrik Stenson. Okay, my tips. It's interesting, Conway Farms. It's definitely a course that in 2013 rewarded accuracy over distance and the Bombers. Absolutely no doubts about that. Jason Day finished 4th here. He was spreading muck everywhere off the tee, but that's Jason Day's style. Everyone else was very compact, very neat and tidy. You don't need to hit big clubs around here to really get an advantage. It's the kind of course that the gates power, especially if the winds are from the southwest and the west, which they are this week for the opening 2 rounds. And that's one thing that's really, really key this week. Look for strong wind players, because Thursday is looking particularly gnarly. Friday and Saturday, there's a very stiff breeze as well. Could be thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday. All of Friday could see electrical activity, so soft course potentially there. But at the end of the day, with quite strong winds, all of a sudden it isn't going to be quite the resort test that we might have thought. When you read a lot of the players like Luke Donald, who is a member here, not playing this week, but in the build-up to 2013, he said that a soft golf course with no wind could be taken apart around here, but the wind is going to be a factor across the first 54 holes. So I'm looking for excellent wind players. I'm also looking for players that come into here with a top 10 across the FedEx Cup playoffs. So I'm going for 3 this week. I'm staying away from Jim Furyk, but I'm going for the defending champion here from 2013. Obviously, Horschel defends the tournament, but Zach Johnson, 2 points each way at 25 to 1 for me with Betfred, is a cracking bet. 4th a couple of weeks ago at Plainfield in New Jersey. I just think Johnson has got the right mix of a recent win, but on top of that, he's playing some fantastic golf from tee to green. I was amazed that he was 2nd after 36 holes at TPC Boston a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I know that Jim Furyk eventually finished 4th. It was very technical around there, very non-TPC Boston. Johnson fell away over the weekend, but his tee to green game right now is fantastic. If he finds the putter this week on a course that we know suits him, and he always performs brilliantly in Illinois, the state that's closest to Iowa, his home ground, I just fancy Johnson big style, 2 points each way, 25 to 1 with Betfred. Backing him up with Matt Kuchar, 2 points each way, 40 to 1 with Ladbrokes I got on Kuchar. 33s is the best price right now. And finally, Hunter Mahan. I managed to grab 2 points each way, 66 to 1 with Ladbrokes. He was 66 in quite a few places. That's all disappeared. Big style now. But Hunter Mahan, 2 points each way at 66 to 1. Could really do with a serious result this week just to keep that FedEx Cup playoff streak of his going, but also to stay in the world's top 50. And of course, top 30 next week at Eastlake all get invites to the majors next season. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next week for the Tour Championship. Goodbye.